Summit Arena is one of the most important player versus player options that you can play in Etheria Restart, and I would say it is super important to max out the points here, because if you check out the shop, you can get perfect lattice fragments for free. Well, for free, like in exchange for 3000 of this currency, as well as Apex prototypes. These are important. Well, Apex, you could argue when it's gonna be used. I'm just hoarding it at the moment because I have enough champions to level up. But you have quite a lot of things that is worth maxing out. Now, you don't need to play this every single day, but you can get 2000 of this PvP currency a week. The rewards themselves are also there on top of that 2000, so you're getting these like 20 a week matches. That's important. Rank up rewards. So far I'm on gold. You can argue that platinum, diamond, master and so on is worth it, but mythic is kind of a long shot, so I'm not expecting it with a PvE focus, which means that I'm not maxing out every single reward. Plus you have the ranking rewards as well. You can expect that if you get to the top 100, then you get something. Now right now my rank is kind of low, so 1948 points. The first one is quite a lot, and I'm gonna show you what you do when you have like a beginner account, 2 weeks old account, less than 2 or maybe 2 weeks old account. And in this case, the first few that I pick, assuming that they make it to my main team, is, yeah, Lily would have been one, but if it's not Lily, then Leon and Freya. Why am I picking Freya? It's because everyone has her, like most people have her, just like Leon. Most people have her. I chose to build Leon myself. That's one thing. By the way, I'm most likely gonna lose this match. Just saying, like straight up, I can see that well, actually, it's not that clear cut. Then in the second part, I can basically choke the opponent by picking Sanya and picking Link Duo. Then how are you gonna heal your team? Good luck. That's the, and how you're gonna deal big damage. Good. Well, actually, they have the middle team member now, because these are the most frequent ones, and I only need one healer. But if I have 2 healers, I'll survive somehow. And then I'll bring along. I would need to build Chloros and Tiamat still, but I'll bring along Selins at this stage, not because it's my #1 choice. Let's see. Ditting or so, I'll basically ban Ditting at this stage. So how are you going to deal damage? That's my question at the moment. How are you going to heal your team? That's my other question. If you need to heal your team at all. So it's all about choking the opponent's few functions, so that you can, how can you cope without dealing big damage, and how can you cope without healing? That's a good question. And the other reason why I built Liam is that no one really wants to ban Liam, like at all. Hardly ever. Sometimes they ban Freya. At the moment they banned one of my healers, which is obviously the best outcome that I can have. Like banning Linglo, that's one of the best things. Now the healer already is gonna heal. There you go. That's not a bad outcome, although good question if I would need to wait with the revive. And I'm getting quite a few debuffs as well, so that's not ideal. The opponent is thinking, unfortunately, I'm not in a very good shape, but as soon as they have used their second skills, third skills, this is when then the dynamic can shift. But you see, this is a fast team, this is a strong team, so I'm not seeing how I can beat them. In fact, I think I won't be able to beat them at all. I told you in advance that most likely this is gonna be a loss. But if you know that it's gonna be a loss, then you just stop and quit. That's also an option. Because right now, we haven't even... So you see, at times you have like crazy opponents. This is a crazy opponent. So I can just exit straight away, admit defeat, fine. And I'm still getting 10 rewards. And you need to get to 2000. I've already gotten 1220. So even a loss brings you forward. I think you get 10 reward, like 10 currency reward up to 1400. So this is up for grabs, and then you just need to win a few times. Well, that's all you need to do. We're gonna play a couple of this arena. And it's not that bad. Let's see. We got another opponent. I'm not sure what to make out of him. Yeah, the damage dealer is already there. I'm gonna bring this time Lily as well, because Lily is kind of popular. But I think this is gonna be a loss as well. Not sure about it, but well, it depends what kind of other units he has built. Yeah, most likely it's gonna be a loss. So I'll bring along Freya just in case, although it's not that important that I bring along Freya. Linglo is more important than Sanya because of the reason that these players oftentimes have like all the teams, like Heinrich at the moment, that's kind of bad, so I'm seeing that I'm losing either way. But he didn't bring Heinrich for some reason, maybe he hasn't built it. He's thinking about Heinrich, thinking, but he got not Heinrich. Okay, and then I'll bring my 6th SSR that has been built well enough. And then which one should I, well, ban? Either Messiah or Holden. I will ban Messiah at the moment. And then that's gonna be the team. We still have all functions intact. I don't understand why the opponent is not caring about suffocating me in terms of healing, suffocating me in terms of buffer debuffer. So basically Lian does the damage, Freya does the buff debuff, Sanya and or Linglo does the healing / reviving, and then there is a 4th function. And you see, once again we're slower, unfortunately, and once again we're losing badly. So in this case I can just admit defeat and move on, because I don't really want to continue. You see, when I record 2 losses straight away, you can imagine that I didn't get these 1200 points from just losses. That's kind of unlikely. And losses are absolutely fine. You're getting closer to that sweet spot. Let's continue with the 3rd one. Unfortunately, when you're up to gold, obviously there is some competition. Now matchmaking may take a bit more time. And well, already 20 minutes or so, but we got someone. Once again 1940 points, so we couldn't expect anything good. By the way, I'm deceptive in a way that here is Doki Doki. This is an incentivization for the opponent to select it, although most opponents don't select Doki. Now, the opponent chose 2, so if my Lily is still alive, then I'll choose Lily, obviously. Freya is gone, that's kind of unfortunate. So I'll pick Linglo, the common units. Everyone has Linglo, most people build Linglo, that's why. And then I'll bring some others as well. Unfortunately, we don't have that buff debuff. Well, actually we do with Lily on some level. So we're fine. I'm bringing a 2nd healer just in case. And then this is the team. They will select one. Which one should we ban? I think, well, at this stage, how can we suffocate this? Like with Freya we can suffocate, or with the damage dealing? I will go with the Freya suffocation. Why? Because if she chooses to buff her team, then it's gonna be really uncomfortable for us. And if we can withhold the damage dealing, and it can happen that we will start with 2 healers, in fact that's what we did. 2 healers is basically a good antidote against extreme damage, as long as we survive. And if we don't survive, it doesn't matter. That's my thought process. Write it in the comments if you think this is all stupid. After all, I just have 2 weeks of experience plus the demo. So there is no extreme damage dealing yet. And at the moment, we're just manipulating turn meter. I'm doing the auto at the moment, so the auto fight, so that I can explain what is going on without thinking too much, without delaying things too much, so that you see that you can do it too. It's not a big deal. And I only manual once I see that it's not obvious, like who's gonna win, who's not gonna win. And there you go. Well, we lost. We would have lost either way. Now we're down to silver 3, which is amazing for us, because we're gonna get easier opponents. But unfortunately we're gonna go back to gold quite soon. It doesn't matter, I'm only in it for the rewards. And now we just get stronger opponents. So, okay, I'm gonna bring my Lian once again. First. Because not everyone chooses Lily. If the opponent chooses Lily, I'll survive somehow. Freya is gone, but our Lily is fine. And I'll bring Linglo. Oh, and I also bring Lily because it's not like Raid Shadow Legends where you click, click, and then confirm. Then you have 2 more opponents to choose. We can think about who to ban. Right now, either Freya or Messiah, both have merit. And now I could bring Selins, and for variety, I could bring Marvel. And now they can suffocate me with healing, by the way, if they choose to. And I can suffocate them with... Well, I'll take away their damage dealer. Because they don't have big, like 6-star top damage dealers at the moment. Loading, and then we'll get started. Here, it's not that clear cut who's gonna win. It's still likely that the opponent will win. Because why would I win if I'm recording? But even with this loss rate, it's absolutely fine. And by the way, this is a free-to-play account that has not been maxed out. I have about 50 stability, so I'm obviously suffering in here. And you see, as soon as you see the speed race, you just exit the battle and then continue. So how to lose many battles in a row and still earn points. That's the idea. And even if I lose all the battles, it just doesn't matter. I just see what kind of character combinations work. Now, I will now get Lian in the mix against this silver 3 opponent. You see they have quite good units. This time I'll bring Freya in. It's unlikely. So if you see that the opponent would have likely chosen Lily, then you don't choose Lily. You'll just choose her next time. So now I'll do this double healing so that you see... So that you're sure that you bring in someone who does healing. Now, at this stage, I don't know who to ban. There are the 2 damage dealers, they are big. And Linglo is healing them. So I'll suffocate them in terms of healing. Well, Hellkid, I mean, they have 3 damage dealers. So we'll need to get rid of them somehow. And it's kind of unfortunate because if they win the speed race, I will just quit. And then you'll see a video where I lose all my matches. It's not typical though, so according to my stats I win a bit more than this. That's not bad because it's just debuffer basically. And at this stage turn meter. Yeah, unfortunately I misclicked because I wanted to target that specific thing. Now the big damage, if we'll die, then it's bad, but fortunately we don't. No, actually we did. So this means that we'll do the AoE. I wanted the other AoE. So now I'm a bit rusty because I wanted the other skill, not this skill. And then we're gonna just die because we won't be able to revive, do everything. Exit battle. Admit defeat, fine. Next. And you just persevere. So as we go down in terms of points, we're gonna be better off. So Messiah, once again, this will be a tough fight as well. I will bring the first 2, including Lily. Then I'll bring Freya and Linglo. So that I block them. And Selins. And let me block the only 6-star opponent that he has. Now, they can still be fast. And if they are fast, then we might lose. Yeah, the buffer is already there, but we're surprisingly fast already. And we're surprisingly spot on in terms of strength. So as soon as we can take initiative, we're quite well off. And targeting is good, like in terms of the weakest opponent. But for some reason the weakest opponent is still alive. I'm a bit surprised. And you see they cannot do much with us at the moment because they are missing damage. So this is a team that is a bit off balance. You need two big damage dealers. Well, they have one, but it's just a single damage dealer. But given that I have only one healer, they basically found the best spot. So basically they killed off my only healer. And that's quite bad. This is what should have happened in the first round, by the way. So first doing the buffs. And for some reason the opponent seems like that they are playing smarter. Seems like that they are playing smarter because they somehow survive. And now we're just not healing. We still have a relatively big damage output. And unfortunately, if this is their main damage dealer, so yeah, we're still surviving. Okay, the AoEs are basically on cooldown. So with a single damage, we can choose which one. I chose the one with the least energy, and that's the only thing we can do. And they are still surviving, so it looks like a loss. Okay, still single damage. We had to do at least that. Now it's the opponent's turn twice. And still single damage. So I'll now hunt their damage dealer. And the AoE, evidently. They were lucky to have survived. And now with retaliation and everything. I'll do a forgetfulness on everyone. Yeah, there you go. And now a single damage on this unit. And it looks like that we're coping without healing. So maybe I've overdid healing. But on auto I might have lost. Yeah, it's a bit too late, so I think you don't have much of a chance anymore, but they still persevered and didn't quit. You know, if I see that I don't have a chance, I just quit. So oftentimes the match itself is determined up front. This is the case as well. That you saw that unless I messed up, I might as well just win. Now let's matchmake. One more at least. Because we still need the points. So lower level unit. I'm expecting the opponent to select Doki, but they didn't. For some reason, many people come with these two units. Now, I'll bring Lily and Freya as usual. They're focused on selecting the units that not many people have. That's a bit interesting. And if they select Linglo, so be it. Now, I will, as a twist, so that you see I have other units as well, I will also select Sanya and let them have Linglo. Because my Sanya build is, by the way, better than my Linglo build. But they chose not to heal, so it seems like healing is not on their mind that much. And once again, we have two units. I'll select Messiah at the moment. Because, well, double healer reviver is not a bad thing either. But for now it's good. And by the way, if you go up to gold, it's fine. You know that you're not gonna go higher. So this means that moving up and down is absolutely fine. Now, we will use the buffs. So we're buffing ourselves first. This is what the AI does badly, by the way. So you do buffing first, evidently, so that you get less issues. Same thing, like buffing first helps. And we have increased speed, increase everything. So if you have increased speed in terms of buffs, that's why basically I like Selins as well. Then obviously you do that. Turn meter, that's fine. You don't want anything crazy. Now the opponent is gonna do this battle, but we're having the buffs. Now if they can steal our buffs, that's another problem. Now forgetfulness for everyone. For now we're doing quite okay. I chose Lily, who did the buffing before. That's a mistake because my reviver will revive Lily, but that's another story. So I'm not worried. Now we're not gonna do the revive. We're just gonna do the turn meter and focus on the same unit, and everyone gets healed a bit. Because we have one revival. Okay. I'll do an AoE attack. And you could focus on the healer on the right as well. And another AoE attack. Yeah, not much happened so far, so we don't need to do the usual revival. I'll just do the healing. There you go. Single damage. We gang up on the healer. I should have done this earlier, by the way. Once again buff. That helps. There you go. That's how you brought Freya. Okay, same turn meter plus healing. And it's a slow grind. Sometimes it's a slow grind. Same single damage. And there is no antidote to this. They're just looking for their skills, but we have the buffs. Plus we have revival. Plus we have healing. So it's kind of easy at this stage. It's a slow grind. Except this. This is a big thing to survive. Okay, let's do buffing. Including increased speed, including everything. But if they kill it, not a big deal, I'll revive. That's why I'm not using the revive skill. Yeah, they're trying, but they are failing badly. And they don't know that we're gonna revive them. Single damage. Plus allied attack. Good. And we'll do the AoE on the remaining. So now they cannot heal. That's good. We can still revive. I'll go for the lowest forgetfulness on everyone. So I go for the lowest health meter on non-AoE attacks. But if I can do AoE attacks, I mean, so be it. This means everyone gets damaged, no matter where I click. And we slowly started sniping, and finally the opponent figured out that they're not gonna make it. I mean, I knew this as soon as they couldn't even defeat Lily, you know. They defeat Lily, I revive her. Not a big deal, because they cannot defeat Lily plus Sonya at the same time. That's easy. And as soon as I killed their healer, because I figured out which one is their healer, I didn't even know about that unit much. Then what are you fighting for? We just slowly pick like one unit after the other. And the score is 1460. So this week I can get to up to 2000 points. It's worth doing the 2000 points, by the way. And if you're not getting any points anymore, so this currency after a loss, then you just have to win. But you know, after losing enough times, you drop down enough so that you can win. So there is no excuse for collecting these 2000 every single week. And that's what I would recommend, because perfect lattices are important. They are quite scarce. And this is Summit Arena. I recommend doing it as much as possible.